Hi there, my name is Jenna. Please remember to use the like and subscribe buttons for future updates before we get into my story. Well, let's get started. Living with Sean has been an incredible experience filled with love, craziness, and a surprising amount of family drama that makes everyone jealous. When we got married 2 years ago, we thought we were starting a life together that would be full of respect and goals that would not only benefit our families but also us. But when Sean's mother, Linda, couldn't let go of his ex-girlfriend Diane, things became more problematic. Yes, you did indeed hear that. Linda doesn't seem to have accepted their breakup. She has pulled off some unbelievable antics, such as the Christmas when she gave Diane a family heirloom necklace in front of me, claiming that it was intended for the one Sean was truly meant to be with. Yes, that hurts. And the story doesn't end there. Diane is almost certain to be present at every family get-together, striding around as if she owned the house and having Linda treat her like the daughter she never had. Sean is caught in the midst, attempting to mediate and advising me to ignore it. However, what can you do when there's a fire burning in your backyard? Fast forward to last week, and we get this fancy envelope in the mail. I knew it was from Linda before I even saw the return address. Inside was an invitation to her 49th birthday bash, and at the bottom, it casually mentioned that special friend Diane would also be there, like she was some kind of VIP guest. That's when I realized this wasn't just any birthday party. It was a setup for something more dramatic. I showed the invite to Sean, and I could see that familiar tightness in his jaw. "We have to go," he said, "but this time it ends." "No more of this, Jenna, I promise." So there we were, strategizing like generals before a battle, how to confront Linda and finally put an end to the constant undermining. The plan was simple: go, confront, and if needed, cut ties. Sean assured me that no matter what happened, we were in this together. As soon as we walked into Linda's house, the tension was thick in the air. The living room was decked out in lavish decor, a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. Diane was already there, mingling and laughing a little too loudly, a glass of champagne in hand. "Happy you could make it, Sean," she said, fluttering her eyelashes as we approached. Sean just nodded, his grip tightening on my hand while I managed a tight smile, saving my energy for the real showdown. It was clear that this wasn't just any birthday celebration. There was a sinister undercurrent to the festivities. And then it happened. Linda clinked her glass, calling for everyone's attention. "Thank you, everyone, for joining my special day. And now I have a little surprise." Her eyes sparkled with mischief, making my stomach churn. She motioned for Diane to come forward. Many of you remember the lovely Diane, Sean's first love. The murmurs grew as Diane stepped up beside Linda, beaming. Today we also commemorate what would have been their 5th anniversary of being together, Linda announced, as she presented Diane with a small velvet box. Inside was the promise ring Sean had given Diane years ago. My heart sank as Diane held it up for everyone to see. "Sean, do you remember this?" Diane's voice was sugary sweet, her eyes locked on his. That was the last straw. Sean's face hardened as he stepped forward, his voice loud and clear, cutting through the chatter. "This ends now. Linda, Diane, what you're doing is disrespectful and hurtful, not just to Jenna, but to me as well. I won't stand for it any longer." "You can't be serious, Sean. We're just reminiscing about the good old days," Linda said, trying to brush it off, but it only fueled his anger. "No, Mom, it's manipulative and cruel. We came here today in good faith, and this is what we walk into." I'm done. Jenna and we're done with this. The room fell silent, everyone's eyes on us. Diane's smile faltered. We're leaving, Sean declared, turning to me. Our hands linked, we made our way to the door, the weight of 1,000 eyes on our backs. Stepping outside into the cool night air felt like a cleansing breath after the stifling tension inside. We need to rethink everything, Jenna. How we handle them, how we protect our peace, Sean said as we walked to the car, his voice firm but weary. I squeezed his hand, feeling a resolve harden in both of us. Together, I assured him, knowing that whatever came next, our united front was the only way forward. The ride home was a blur of streetlights and silence, each of us lost in our thoughts about the night's chaos. As we finally pulled into our driveway, Sean broke the silence. We can't let this go on. It's not just about tonight. It's every gathering, every call. It's constant. You're right. It's like they feed off the drama. We need boundaries. Real ones, not just talk. The next morning, over coffee, still heavy with the residue of the night before, Sean and I laid out our plan. It was drastic, but necessary. Sean pulled out. His phone buzzed as he scrolled through the texts, revealing proof of the relentless interference from Linda and Diane. Later, we received a call from Diane, her voice shaky and panic-lacing her words. Sean, you need to come quick. Your mom. She had a fall. It's bad. I watched Sean's expression shift from concern to skepticism. We'll be right there, he replied. But as soon as he hung up, he turned to me. Something doesn't feel right. Let's be prepared for anything. Sure enough, when we arrived at Linda's, we found her and Diane sitting on the porch, perfectly fine, a smug look on Linda's face. Thought you'd come, didn't you? She said. We need to talk, Sean. This whole thing is just silly. Using fake emergencies to manipulate us? That's low, even for you. Mom, I ignored your last text. Pretending Diane was hospitalized to get me to rush over? It's over, Linda. Sean, I'm your mother. You can't just cut me out. And Diane, she's been so helpful through all of this. It's over, Linda. Listen to me. It's over. The ride home was quiet, but the decision was clear. We needed that restraining order. It wasn't just about creating distance anymore. It was about protecting our safety and mental health. We knew what we had to do. We called our lawyer friend Mark, who specialized in such matters. Hey, Mark, we need advice on a restraining order. It's gotten out of hand with Sean's mom and his ex. Mark was quick to respond. You've got enough for a case. Harassment, emotional distress. Let's meet tomorrow. Bring everything, texts, emails, any records of these stunts. Meeting with Mark was eye-opening. He laid out our options and detailed the steps for filing a restraining order. It felt like a heavy decision, but with each recounting of events, the necessity became clear. Let's get this paperwork started, he'd advised. You two need peace to move forward. As we provided him with all the evidence we had collected, the idea of moving came up. We should consider getting out of here. Start fresh somewhere new, I suggested, the weight of our recent troubles pressing down on us. Sean nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. Yeah, somewhere far from all this drama. We could really use a clean slate. The following weeks were a whirlwind of real estate listings and late-night discussions about where to move. We wanted somewhere peaceful, a community that felt like a retreat from our current turmoil. How about Asheville? It's beautiful, quiet, lots of nature. could be the fresh start we're looking for, Sean proposed one evening, showing me pictures of misty mountains and vibrant fall colors. I smiled, imagining a life free from unwanted intrusions. Asheville sounds perfect. Let's do it. With that decision made, we started the process, contacting realtors, planning a visit to Asheville, and slowly detaching ourselves from the toxic orbit of Linda and Diane. It wasn't just about moving physically. It was about emotionally and mentally distancing ourselves, reinforcing our boundaries with concrete actions. As our plans solidified, so did our resolve. No more unannounced visits, no more manipulative texts, just the future we chose on our terms. Boxes filled every corner of our new home, a symbol of the fresh start we so desperately needed. Sean and I moved around the space, unpacking our lives bit by bit, piecing together a new sanctuary away from the chaos we left behind. Can you believe how quiet it is here? Sean marveled as he set down a box labeled kitchen stuff. I know. It's like we can finally hear ourselves think. As we unpacked, each item sparked a small memory, reminding us of what we had endured and what we hoped to build here. We organized, decorated, and in each small decision, we found glimpses of the peace we sought. Later, as we sat surrounded by half-unpacked boxes, our phones beeped almost simultaneously with messages from Linda and Diane, attempts to breach the walls we had built. We looked at each other, a silent agreement passing between us. Let's block these numbers for good. With a few taps, the final ties were cut. The silence that followed felt like the first true breath of freedom. I can't say I won't miss some parts of the past, but I won't miss the drama. We'll make better memories here, ones that nobody can spoil. As night fell, we took a walk around our new neighborhood. The streets were quiet, the air fresh. It felt like stepping into a new life. The weight of the past slowly lifted with each step we took. Do you think we handled everything right? I asked as we paused. We did what we had to do to protect our peace. That's all anyone can do. I've learned that some ties need to be cut to make room for better ones, and it's okay to put ourselves first. Absolutely. It's about us now and our future. That night, back at our place, we reflected more on our journey. The battles with Linda and Diane had taught us more about ourselves, about our strengths and the depths of our resolve. Never thought we'd have to go through all that, I said, sighing. I guess it's made us stronger, huh? Sean mused, a gentle smile playing on his lips. It has, I agreed. I'm just glad we're on the other side of it now. And I'm glad I had you with me through all of it. I couldn't have done it without you, Jenna, Sean replied, squeezing my hand. Here's to new beginnings. Our journey wasn't easy, but it brought us to a place where we could finally feel at ease in our new home. We could build the future we'd always dreamed of, free from the shadows of the past. Our days in the new community began with morning jogs in the park and coffee at the little cafe around the corner. The locals were a friendly bunch, eager to welcome new faces. On one of these morning runs, we met Tom and Elisa, a couple around our age who quickly became fixtures in our lives. Finally got some fresh blood in the neighborhood. Tom joked as he handed us 2 steaming cups of coffee. We were starting to think we'd have to start importing friends, Elisa added with a laugh. Their warmth was a stark contrast to the cold manipulations we left behind. It wasn't long before our weekends were filled with barbecues and game nights, slowly stitching us into the fabric of our new surroundings. One lazy Sunday afternoon, as we relaxed in our backyard, the conversation turned to the future. I'd been thinking about the nursery, maybe pastel colors or something neutral. I said, the idea of starting a family now a real and exciting prospect. Whatever you think, babe, I'm just excited at the thought of little versions of us running around, Sean said with a smile. Our laughter was light, free from the shadows of the past. It was during one of these gatherings that we heard the news about Linda and Diane. Alisa, ever the social media sleuth, brought it up casually, her phone displaying the feed. Looks like karma really does have a way of catching up. Did you see this about Diane? Curiosity piqued. I leaned over to read the post detailing Diane's recent fallout with her job and social circle. Accusations of deceit and manipulation had left her isolated, a social pariah. She's moved away, Alisa continued, and Linda isn't faring much better. She tried organizing another big event, and practically no one showed up. It's all over the local forums. I heard Linda has been selling off assets. She's facing some serious financial troubles, Tom chimed in. The news stirred a complex whirl of emotions within me, but mostly, I felt relief that their toxicity was no longer our burden. It's sad in a way, but it's the result of their choices. I guess they're finally getting a taste of their own medicine. Yeah, and we're just here enjoying our peace. No looking back now. As fall turned to winter, our home transformed into a cozy haven. The holiday season was particularly magical, our first in the new house. Decorations lined the streets, and our home glowed with lights and festive cheer. We hosted our first Thanksgiving, filling our home with laughter and stories, a stark contrast to the strange family gatherings of the past. During one quiet evening, as we sat wrapped in blankets watching the snow fall, Sean pulled me closer. I've been thinking about how far we've come. It's been quite a journey, huh? It has. But look at us now, happier than ever. We made the right decisions, Sean. For us, for our future. I know, he said, his voice filled with conviction. And every day, I'm grateful for it, for us. We stuck together through everything, and that's what made the difference. That's what will always make the difference. Nodding, I felt the truth of his words deep in my bones. Our past trials seemed distant now, lessons that taught us the value of unity and the strength of our bond. I love you, Sean, more than ever. And I love you, Jenna. Here's to us, to our future. Outside, the world was white and quiet, but inside our home, it was warm with love and the promise of brighter days. Our journey had taught us the true value of peace, and as we looked ahead, we knew we were ready for whatever came our way together. Sean and I decided to break bad relationships and start over. We now look to you to tell us what you would have done in our shoes. If there had been problems, would you still have sought to make things right? Or would you have gone the same way? It's a difficult decision, and each person's situation is unique. Post your ideas and personal stories in the comments section below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you liked this story and would want to see more. We can continue to bring you more stories like these thanks to your support. We appreciate you seeing, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts.